All right.
There you
Okay,
go.
recording started. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, this is actually really kind of fun. A little bit of background about this Zoom call is that um, over the last couple of weeks, we were talking about how do we provide more benefit. You know, most of us are in careers that involve they're helping careers, and we really take pride in being able to go through and kind of seek out solutions to problems that people have because we know how busy lives are, and because we dedicated a portion of our time to trying to figure things out. This has been a real great platform to be able to do that. So we decided on, are we look at the Christmas season coming up or the holiday season. Um, the holiday season, and knowing that people really struggle to survive, is it possible to have people thrive? And so, and of course, yes, we decided that yes, thriving over Christmas sounds a whole lot better than surviving. So we're going to be able to provide just a few short, simple tips. I'll try to keep it short. I do have a case of windbagitis that I'm presently recovering from. But so for the few points that I wanted to share was thriving over Christmas was really looking at a couple of things I've been really fascinated by, and one, of course, is time restricted feeding. Right now, this may sound a bit daunting, but time restricted feeding simply means deciding to eat all your calories. So if it's Christmas calories, eat all your calories in a certain time frame. And Dr. Sancha Panda from the Salk Institute actually started this the whole line of research a while ago, and they found that they actually developed some great results, weight loss results, and with having people eating within a certain time frame. So, and the time frames are generally in between 10 to 12 hours. So all my calories, all my Christmas calories will be consumed within a 10 to 12 hour period. And then the other 10 to 12, the other hours, either 12 to 14 hours, would be in a fasting state. And I can have water, of course, I can have tea, but just no solid food, nothing with sugar in it because I don't want to bring my insulin levels up. And the beauty behind that time restricted feeding is that you weren't restricted in the quality of food that you were eating. It didn't have to be all organic. It didn't have to be all ketogenic. It didn't have to be paleo. It didn't have to be anything really exceptionally healthy, though that would be a great idea, however. But it just, your normal dietary foods, if you ingested them within 10 to 12 hours and had all your calories at that point, actually they saw really actually great weight loss results. People also found that they slept a lot better. And of course, they woke up feeling much more rested. And one of the important things behind it, and just very, very quickly to point out, is that the reason why you restrict your calories is that when the sun starts going down, and of course in the northern continent, part of the continent, when it gets very dark very quickly, we know that our brain produces melatonin as soon as it starts to get darker. As the brain produces melatonin, of course, it induces sleep. Right, this is our sleep hormone. But what was really interesting to realize is that the stomach produces melatonin, which goes, well, why would the stomach do that? Well, because the pancreas actually uptakes melatonin. So basically, when the sun goes down, it gets dark, we produce melatonin here, we produce melatonin in our gut, but it also actually, the pancreas actually gets a signal from melatonin, and the pancreas reduces the amount of insulin it produces. So if you don't produce insulin really well when it gets dark out, what's the likelihood of you being able to metabolize sugars? Very, very, very slow, right? So they look at it, and of course it makes sense back historically. If you lived in a cave and it got dark out and you decide you want to go for something to eat, you're probably going to be lunch for a nighttime predator. So I guess here historically that just made sense. So time restricted feeding is actually a really simple thing to do, and if you're doing it, if you're doing it 4 or 5 days at a 7, you'll actually gain really some really great benefits from it. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So if you start eating at 7 a.m. and you're done eating at 7 p.m. and you don't eat for a full 12 hours, again, that's a really simple strategy to actually get to the Christmas season that way. The other thing that we can look at, and I'll put some links in the chat feed here when I'm done my conversation so that you can look at some of the different research links and some of the easier to follow links around this topic. The other one was, of course, getting into intermittent fasting. And of course, I'm a huge proponent of fasting. I've been doing it for many, many years. But fasting really actually makes life very simple. And especially after a big, we call a refeed day, meaning a day that you maybe ate a little bit too much. I really try within my current lifestyle is to fast 1 day a week. pick one day a week, any time during the week, whatever works best for you. And again, just not taking in any sugars whatsoever. Black coffee's fine, lots of water, herbal teas for sure. But again, the fasting process really sets a great reset on your body. And it really helps kind of clear your mind, and it triggers the whole beautiful process inside the body that I won't get into great detail, but it's the whole healing process. And so fasting has been used for thousands of years, and why not? Why not over the Christmas season? We're busy anyhow, right? We're running around, and people normally forget to eat, and all of a sudden it's like 6:30 in the evening, and they go, "Oh my God, I haven't eaten all day. I've been running on Starbucks for the last 9 hours." So why not actually have a day where you actually decide to fast? I can drink black coffee, I can have my green teas, and I'm actually going to drink lots of water, and I'm going to fast today, and it just for 24 hours, get my Christmas shopping done, and actually really give my body a break, right? I don't have to eat, gives me a little bit more time to get things done, and I know I'm doing my body a really good service, right? So that's, so fasting, 24-hour fasting, I think it's a great tool to use, but plan ahead, right? Plan ahead over the holidays, and if you know you got a good night out with a Christmas party with the team, and it's just on a Thursday night, and Friday you got nothing going on, go and have fun with your friends on Thursday night, fast Friday, all day Friday, and you'll be good to go on Saturday. The last thing, of course, is hydration, and of course water. And we've probably heard this a million times, so you're going to hear a million and one. Staying hydrated is hugely important. Number one cause of daytime fatigue is dehydration, and we often mistake hunger. We often mistake dehydration and hunger as the same signal. So if you feel like you're getting hungry and you feel those hunger pains come on, try having some water, a big glass of water, a couple glasses of water, especially even before a meal. 15 minutes before a meal, you'll find that your hunger will be kind of buffered. You won't feel quite as bad. You get a lot more mental clarity because a fuzzy brain often comes from being a dehydrated brain. And of course, when I put the research links in there, of course, you'll find that there's some great information around your metabolism and dehydration. And I believe the number is, even being dehydrated as much as 2 to 3%, you can actually slow your metabolism down over 10 to 15%. So our ability to utilize fat, the whole fat burning process called lipolysis, actually occurs better when we're well hydrated. So keep lots of water in your system. And the only downside is that you always got to know where the nearest available washroom is, because you're going to have to pee, right? So as long as you got that figured out, the intake of water is actually pretty simple. So those are my three little tips for the holidays: time restricted feeding, right? Eating with a 12-hour block and fasting for 12 hours. Picking one day a week to do a 24-hour fast, really simple, and gives you that much more time to shop and get your presents wrapped. And of course, lastly, just stay well hydrated, and that by itself will actually do you wonders. All right, that's all I got to say.
Thanks, David. I think I'm next up here. So yeah, thanks. I think it's awesome that we can come together on a call and just help support each other and stay focused on what's considered sometimes one of the most difficult times of the year to keep our health and fitness goals on track. For me, I feel like September, October, and November has been like really awesome as far as getting results and whatnot. So I think my biggest advice to everybody is just don't write December off. Don't think the holidays are coming, so it's going to be too difficult to stay focused. I think that having goals that you're aware of all the time helps keep you focused. For me, my daughter is getting married in Mexico in February, so that's obviously something I've been using as a huge end result that I'm working towards. So being very aware of what those goals are helps me stay focused for sure. So with that said, some of the tips that I like to think about during the holidays is, first of all, just really being aware of what we choose to indulge in. So for me, I find that it's easy for me to say no to certain things when I'm working hard and my results are good, but just to be mindful of the fact that it is the holidays, and of course I'm going to enjoy things, but being very choosy of what those calorie intakes I'm going to take. So I almost think of it like my calorie bank that I'm allowed to dip into and what I want to spend it on. Same with as if you were thinking of it as your budget with your money. Do you want to blow it on garbage that you're not going to care about later, or are you going to invest it in something that's really important? So for me, it's just a little bit of a trick to say, yeah, that's worth it, what I want to spend it on or not. The other thing that is really helpful for me is to be mindful of all the special treats out there that have such high calories that are so easy to intake. Like, for example, the Starbucks Christmas drinks that are coming out in the specials. They all sound so not only nummy, but just comforting and whatnot. And it's just so easy to grab them on the go. And I personally love that Starbucks throws those calories right up on the board for us. So we can be like, holy crap, I would never drink a 600 calorie drink, but without thinking about it, we do, right? So deciding to have a peppermint tea instead or whatever, that really helps me to stay focused and choose again what I want to invest my calories in. And also I find something very interesting is that sometimes when we are going to lots of Christmas parties and whatnot, we're also enjoying lots of alcoholic beverages, which also can add up in calories very quickly. So being mindful of those choices, and also remembering that sometimes having alcohol also affects our judgment. So you go to a Christmas party with full intentions of, staying on track and being on your goals, and then all of a sudden you've had a little bit too much to drink, and it's not so easy to make choices that you would have before when you're not. So yeah, a lot of people talk about the 80-20 rule, being 80% of the time you're eating healthy, 20% of the time you're enjoying the holidays and not so healthy. I don't like to really consider it a ratio. And actually what David shared was very interesting. I was really taking in what he said about being mindful of when you take in your calories or whatnot. But my recommendation is to just eat delicious and eat healthy as most often as you possibly can, but give yourself permission to enjoy the holidays. That's what they're all about. They only happen once a year. We're spending time with family and friends, and limiting ourselves all the time isn't fun either. We just feel deprived. And also just to be really gentle on yourself. A lot of times people use words like, oh, I screwed up and blew it, or I had a mistake, or I slipped up, or whatever. And those words can often be associated with guilt. And then we just are beating ourselves up. So just give yourselves permission to enjoy the holidays, be really focused on your goals, and just keep going on. And just the groups like this that support each other, that's so awesome. So that's all I have to share.
Thanks, Bonnie. I think I'm next. So I'm Jennifer. I'm from Sylvan Lake, for those that don't know. My little aspect that I'm covering is, I want to say the busy schedule. I'm a single mom going 100 different directions, which a lot of people do, even if you're not a parent. It seems to be Christmas parties or various activities in December that have even started as of now. So if they started now, that makes for really busy or active, depending how many parties you got to go to, December. So a lot of that can be stressful on people. I'm not so much stressed. It's just a go, go, go. So I would love to say I'm one of those people that do meal prep at the beginning of the week, but I'm not. I'm more of a wing it kind of person, but I do make sure that the proper foods are in my fridge at least. And I guess that's kind of meal prep, not as I see it, but when I'm shopping, I try to have those easy snacks that are quick and healthy for my kids. I have to laugh. A couple of years ago, well, now I know what they are, but as of 2 years ago, I didn't even know what protein balls were. Our favorite snack to make, and they're super easy to have. They'll stick in their lunch, and everybody this kind of can have it, needs a boost of energy. I was going to add water too, because it's easy not to have that. It's easy to grab the Starbucks or the glass of wine or whatever. So my tip was going to be absolutely stay hydrated. Try to get your sleep as much as possible. The only other thing that I was going to say is that this isn't a plug, but certain products can help you throughout the day with energy boosts and whatnot. So myself, I cannot live with what I take every morning, which is Isagenix, the Ionix, because it's full of adaptogens and whatnot. I'll put a link in there about that so you guys can understand exactly what I'm talking about. But I need a boost of energy because I'm just on the go all the time, typically. So my thing is, the only other thing I want to say is you need to take time out for yourself. This time of year, everybody's doing, as I say, lots of various things. And I think it's really important to take time out for yourself, either that being a workout, meditating, yoga, stop and read a book for 15 minutes. Something that can make yourself just kind of slow down, because as Bonnie says, this only comes once a year, so you want to try to enjoy it instead of not just trying to get through it, which is what I'm trying to do, is take me time. So I think that's all I have to say tonight, is about it's just be conscious of what you're taking, what you're doing, and if you can have a little bit of prep, not how I do, because let's be realistic, the cook takes a night off once in a while, so don't beat yourself up about it, but it's easy to have those on-hand snacks that are super easy for everybody to grab.
Wow, awesome, Jen. Thanks for that. So yeah, for me, I wanted to first share that the most important thing is getting up and having my mindset time and daily movement. So as Jen was saying, and we've all been saying, is it's such a busy time of year, and it really pays off just to take that little bit of time for yourself every single day, whether it be in the morning or in the evening or midday, whatever it is for you, to just focus on having a positive mindset. And that movement is huge. You feel so much better, it gets the blood flowing, and we all not only need it, we deserve it too. My second tip is protein pacing. So I like to eat, for sure, every grams of protein if possible. Each time I eat, it really helps to keep me satisfied. It helps to keep me lean and to support all of my goals. So I like to, and I'm going to put a couple links in here, but just a lot of people ask me what kind of meals to eat. And I like to say, start with your protein as your base, and then add to that. So you can put your carbohydrates, your rice, your sweet potatoes, your pastas, about a cup, your oatmeal, a cup of cooked oatmeal, that's all great. And then half of your plate should be vegetables. You can't get too many vegetables or fruit. I typically suggest fruit in the morning, veggies in the afternoon, just because of the sugars that you take in the morning. So if possible, that's great. And I like to do apples and pears if you have those in the afternoon, just because they are quite low in sugar. And my third tip is 100% community. I love being surrounded by like-minded people that support all of these goals. If I was around people and I have been in my lifetime, people that go like, why are you eating that way? You start to feel almost funny for eating that way or make excuses. And you know what? This has just become my lifestyle. It's who I am. It's a habit. It like my food tastes really good. I'm never feeling deprived. It's what my body craves now. So the community is so important, and something I don't go a day without, because I know that when I slip, that they're there to lift me up and say, no, you've got this, and like I said, you deserve it. So those are my tips, and I'll throw some links in there to support that in just your nutrition, and had a couple other ones with the vitamins I take as well, because I really feel like they're really important at this time of year too. Thank you.
Yeah, it's and it's so funny. You're talking about people being weird around your dietary lifestyle, and it's and so I can't remember who, somebody once said, this was quite a few years ago, saying, if it's not a big deal for you, it's not a big deal for them. And it's, and I think it's the tendency to over-explain your decision, eat a certain way. But other than, no, this is just what I'm doing. This is how I eat. Anyhow, and next, right on to the next thing. And it just throws people off a little bit. And I think sometimes we find our lifestyle choices almost become an accusation. People take it as an accusation. But I think if, I think one of the challenges that it just, that that may occur is that when we have especially around the holidays, it's not a time to over-explain our dietary choices to people because they don't want to hear it. They want to eat, they want to drink what they want to drink, and if we can simply be in their presence, enjoy their company, but just do what we do, I think it's probably not the place unless they're actually asking for information on how they can do better. But simply just to enjoy our lifestyle, enjoy our time, and I think, like as you said, Bonnie, it was just we don't get a chance to get together. If it wasn't for holidays, some of us would never ever see our relatives, right? If it wasn't for 1 or 2 times a year, you'd never see anybody. So I think it's an important time, and we can leave we have our lifestyle. We can leave the judgment on other people's lifestyle. Leave that to another day and a different time for that kind of conversation. But it's really great, actually. It's just I appreciate the opportunity to share this information with you guys. We have recorded it, so we'll make it available as well. And this will be kind of an ongoing process of us getting together and Tricia saying the collective community of people wanting to do these type of things. I mean, we probably wouldn't do a lot of this on our own, having these kind of conversations, but to extract a little bit of wisdom from everybody and then share it out there publicly, it's actually a really great thing. So thanks everybody for showing up and sharing the call. I'm glad the Wi-Fi was stable enough on my end to work. It hasn't been in the previous months, so we rocked it out tonight.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being here. I'm inspired to stay healthy this December, that's for sure.
I didn't see anybody ask any questions in the chat, so I'm assuming who's on doesn't have any questions or anything like that. So if you do, quickly maybe make a note or
I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you for inviting me, Trish. I love hearing more tips, and hearing it again is very helpful for the holiday season. Like just hearing everybody's feedback, it's great. I appreciate you guys letting me join.
Thanks, Anne.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, well, it's fun, and I think it's and it's just the great challenge for all of us is being able to we want to because of the nature of the careers we've chosen, what we're collectively trying to do. It's being able to do more of these things, be more and more comfortable kind of sharing these kind of conversations. I just appreciate all you ladies continue to let me to hang out with you, hang out with this estrogen-laden group of women, but it's really good. I've enjoyed it, and thanks for being so consistent, over the last while, because we made a decision that we wanted to do this, and we did. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to do in 2018 with this going forward.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Okay, guys.
Thanks for joining the call.
All right. As soon as I get the recording up, I'll put a copy in Stronger Together, and then you guys can share it from there.
All right.
Okay. All right. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.